Good morning and welcome to SUNY ESF. We are very happy that you are here and very happy that Rockefeller chose us to partner for this wonderful event today. I am Joanie Mahoney. I'm the president here at SUNY ESF. And as we begin, I would like to acknowledge where we stand, that we have the privilege of meeting today in the ancestral lands of the Onondaga Nation, the center of the Six Nations of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, who we honor for their many contributions, including the original philosophy and practice of environmental stewardship. And I have the pleasure to introduce my friend, the previous 25-year president of SUNY Oswego, who attempted to retire and was not allowed and has been called back into service as the Chancellor of the State University of New York system. Deb Stanley currently chairs the American Academic Leadership Institute and serves on numerous other education, climate, and leadership boards and institutes. And like me, Chancellor Stanley is a graduate of both Syracuse University and the Syracuse University College of Law. But unlike me, her degree came with honors. And it is my honor to introduce, for a welcome this morning, Chancellor Deb Stanley.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I think this is going to be a great day. I'm so happy to be here. I must admit, as a Syracuse University student, and I was a Syracuse University student many, many years before President Mahoney. But I occasionally walked on this campus, but I didn't really recognize it for its special nature. And I have just this wonderful opportunity as interim chancellor to recognize the really heart and soul of this campus and what it stands for, and I'm so pleased to be here. I really want to say that I think today will be a special day, and I'm so proud of the fact that it is being convened by Rockefeller Institute of Government and the president, Robert Magna, who I work with just about every day, who I'm very pleased to be with, and President Mahoney, who I have been friends with now for several years, who has been doing just a fabulous job here at Environmental Science and Forestry. And we love to say that word, environmental science and forestry. And we know that it really is owned here in SUNY and stands out as the lead institution for all things environmental. We're going to be talking today, I guess, about municipal budgeting, concrete sourcing, procurement policy. None of these things really make headlines, right? And yet, what makes headlines is, of course, climate change and some of the arguments around climate change and some of the paralysis around policy change that is attendant to climate change, and all of the issues around conservation and about what we do with our natural resources. And I believe that we must ramp up those conversations, and this is the time to start, and you are the people to really begin those conversations right here today. It's not really a beginning, though, but you can raise the level of those conversations, and I know that you bring the pride and the insight and the expertise to do so. Policy experts at Rockefeller Institute and subject experts at ESF. This is a great melding, right? Bringing those opportunities together as we talk. I think about the 64 campuses, and I think about the Academy's responsibility. What is the Academy's responsibility? When we think about education and we think about the environment, we think about policy, we think about change and innovation, we think about science and how can we reclaim our climate, and how can we do that both in the scientific sense and in the social sense. And we think about teaching, right? We think about curriculum. We think about being in the academy and being in the classroom and having those individuals, like many of you in this room, who have studied in depth and attained a degree, a terminal degree perhaps, in these areas, and can enlighten and light the spark in those students to continue on in that way. Well, that's a wonderful thing, but the academy can also do so much more. The academy can convene, like today. It can also be an inclusive convener and can demonstrate by example what that means in the civic arena. How will our students take that forward? How will they move out and know that they have a responsibility to their communities, not just to their families, but to their families, to their communities, to their workplaces, to be ever present in this area so that they can advance the ball also. It is a grand challenge. When we talk about grand challenges in the university, we talk about experiential learning as well. So we want students to be part of the solutions, and that's what we are working toward today, is solutions, and that's pretty special to be able to do that. I think what I'm also thinking of is leadership. Leadership is actually at the heart of everything we do as far as addressing green policy and solutions for climate and for conservation and for continuance of our world in the way that we know it. So when we think about policy, when we think about bringing together strategies and solutions, we must think about also finding ways to help people lead. I think back to how I've had such an enormous opportunity in my years at Oswego. We did a great deal of rebuilding of the campus at Oswego. I don't know if any of you have been up to Oswego recently, but in the past 20 years, we put about $1 billion into the campus. And I can think of a couple of instances. And one instance is building a science building, a $118 million science building. And in deciding in 2010, when the plans were being put together for that science building, what kind of building it was going to be, meaning environmentally, what kind of building was it going to be, we had options available to us. The best option environmentally was to drop about 350 geothermal wells under the parking lot. Pile drive those geothermal wells under the parking lot. I lived through that pile driving on the campus. But it cost $34 million more to do that. Yet, as an educational institution, building a science building that we wanted to be LEED Gold, we collectively made the decision that that was the way we were going to go. It was difficult because you defer other things in order to lead in another area, and we wanted to lead in this area. So, this was a collective decision. I don't take credit for it alone. There were many people who were willing to go down this road. And there were so many other decisions. We built a village of townhouses, and we were the first in 2010. We used what was called a SIPS panel. And our contractor, actually a Syracuse-based contractor, Huber Brewer, had never used SIPS panels before. So they were learning along with us how to build more environmentally and greener buildings, environmentally safe and greener buildings. So that's the kind of leadership I'm thinking about. I hope you keep that in mind today as you're going forward. Since I've been interim chancellor, I've traveled the state in a different way. I have this little triangle I travel. I travel between Albany and Casanova, where I live now, and I travel to New York City often for work and for family. And I see back roads in a different way than I've ever seen them. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Route 17 across the southern tier. Well, as you approach Binghamton, about 16 miles or so east of Binghamton, about Windsor, New York, you crest a hill. And as you come down that hill, does anyone know what you see? The largest windmills you have ever seen in your life. They look surreal. They look larger than the mountains, larger than the Catskills. I don't know if it's an optical illusion or what it is, but it's startling. But I've also seen many in these rural areas, many solar farms. So the landscape, what we consider beautiful, is also changing. I consider all of those things beautiful as well. So I'm eager to hear what you have to say today. I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you, and thank you for being here yourself. I hope it's a productive day. Welcome.